Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As is customary, I have a little commentary I'd like to deliver to you, and it begins thusly. Have we all become so inured to treachery and deceit on the part of our elected officials that it just doesn't matter to us anymore? The highest laws enforcement official in the land explained recently in ever so reasonable tones that lying, thieving, scumbag banksters like HSBC are free to commit whatever crimes they like because they're too big to prosecute. An annoying one of them could upset the nation's and maybe even the world's economy. Well, Mr. Holder, I would say it's long past time to upset the nation's economy if its security is contingent upon giving a get-out-of-jail-free card to lying, thieving, scumbag banksters. But unfortunately, they own the world, and they are cheating us out of our share of it, with a little help from those officials we elected to protect us from those rapacious psychopaths in the first place. So the banksters get off scot-free, but journalists who ferret out their wrongdoing and expose their misdeeds run the risk of falling afoul of another gang of marauding psychopaths, federal prosecutors. This afternoon's alternate news update has a feature by Glenn Greenwald, wherein he writes about the pervasive but underreported prosecutorial abuse, most recently highlighted by the tragic death of Aaron Swartz. Barrett Brown, a recognized journalist whose byline has appeared in many well-known publications, has been in jail since September of last year, apparently because he had been investigating private intelligence contractors about whom the public and many in Congress know absolutely nothing. Now, the FBI had no real legal justification for raiding his apartment in 2011 and found nothing incriminating there, but they continuously harassed and intimidated his mother until Brown lost it and threatened to expose the agent primarily responsible and ruin him. That's all they need. Barrett Brown now faces many, many years in jail. Now, the Sedition Act was long ago repealed, but the Obama administration has done an end run around that by invoking national security in order to silence whistleblowers and critics alike. A former federal prosecutor said that such cases are not isolated incidents. A total disregard for even the most basic civil rights is endemic in the federal judicial system. I have witnessed firsthand outrageous prosecutorial misconduct by someone who went so far as to accuse an opposing attorney of criminal collusion with his client. Only a very astute judge's public rebuke prevented that prosecutor from getting a far harsher sentence by trying to include charges that weren't even in the indictment and thus inadmissible in the sentencing hearing. The point is, our judicial system has been perverted into a tool to repress dissent rather than to punish true wrongdoers. And those who will not be silenced by tyranny had better keep a bag packed, because the thought police may be breaking down your door very soon.
Well, thanks, Greg. Scientists working on the Lazarus Project announced last Friday that they have successfully rejuvenated cells of a species of frog extinct since 1983. Greg, you were saying this is an Australian frog that has unique characteristics. What were you saying?
It is a gastric breeder. In other words, once the eggs are laid, it swallows them, and in the frog's stomach is where the tadpoles develop, and finally the mother frog, or maybe even the father frog, they weren't specific about that, actually goes and spits out a live baby frog.
Wouldn't it be great if men could give birth for a change?
if you say so, dear.
Oh, you would just love to see us suffer, and then
No,
it's
just...
Yeah. You were going to talk about the Mariana Trench there.
New data suggests that the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the world's oceans, is home to a large number of bacterial life forms, which is no big surprise. But it's interesting to note that more people have visited the moon than have been to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Back to you, Tad.
NASA's Mars rover Curiosity Tuesday found further evidence of water-bearing minerals while studying the rock Tintina. It's really exciting what's happened recently with the Mars rover, and what they're finding is evidence of water having been there, a lot more water in the past, which is just like the fantasies of the science fiction from almost 100 years ago of the canals from Mars, and gosh, what it could mean. But it turns out that the canals probably really were formed by water.
See nothing of all those Kim Stanley Robertson
Right, that's what comes to
novels.
the more recent ones.
Those great, they're really awesome novels.
Well, who was the guy that
Take your word for it.
Who's the guy that did the Tarzan novels, but also did those fantastic Mars novels? Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Edgar Rice Burroughs,
Yeah,
yes.
he did, like,
He was the one that came up with the canals.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's really fabulous.
Talked
Yeah,
about that in fiction anyway.
and it was all this sort of dynasty on Mars with princes and princesses, and yeah, kind of cool. Stuff.
Dream big, yes indeed.
Yeah. Neat stuff, definitely. Greg, you were about the Voyager 1 spacecraft.
The Voyager 1 spacecraft may have left the solar system.
Well,
This is
Blow
interesting.
on
This
planet Pluto?
and it just
Oh, it's way past the.
bye. But the
way
thing is
past
that the Voyager was launched in 1977. That thing has been sailing for
With Energizer,
36 years.
Energizer batteries.
Yes, a lot of Energizer batteries.
Great.
But it has been sailing out towards the outer reaches of the solar system for 35 years, and at the speeds that thing is traveling, it's traveling at like 17, maybe 20,000 miles an hour. It is only just reaching the outer limits of the solar system, so that gives you an idea of what kind of distances we're talking about. Now, I'm sort of
Far out. Man.
dating myself a little bit, but I remember the very first Star Wars movie, in which
Who doesn't?
Princess Leia, yeah.
no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Forgive me. The very first Star Trek movie. In which you can't get those things mixed up. President Obama did that a few weeks ago, and they tore him a new one. It was awful. And it was like, oh, how could you mix up Star Trek and Star Wars? It's unforgivable. But
The star part.
star this, star that, star whatever. So anyway, the mystery surrounding that was V'ger, which turned out to be. They rubbed the dust off it, and it was Voyager 1 had gone off into some other universe, and a robot civilization had elaborated on the thing, and then sent it back to Earth looking for a whale. Okay.
It's a different episode.
Am I mixing up? We're talking a long time ago. The interesting thing is that Voyager.
That was Star Trek 2.
Voyager has become an icon of mystery and exploration in our culture, and it's every once in a while somebody will pipe up and say, "Oh, guess what? Voyager's still out there." Okay, cool.
It's pretty cool, but is William Shatner with it?
No, he's older than Voyager.
I
He's
know.
But he's still hanging in there.
Yeah, he was at the Oscars this year.
Yeah. The European Space Agency yesterday released the Planck Space Observatory's first all-sky map of the cosmic microwave background, the most accurate ever created. It determined that the universe is older than scientists expected, at 13.82 billion years old.
The 8-2 is the critical part there.
Yeah, man.
A billion here and a billion there, you're talking about a real old place,
Okay, Congress.
Unless, of course, well, we won't go there. If you live in Kentucky and you think that people rode dinosaurs, then it's, it's 6,000 years, maybe something like that. But there's no hope for you anyway.
No.
Two new species of lizard reportedly discovered in the Andes Mountains in Peru. They neglected to name these lizards thus far, and the thing is that there are so many species of animals, fish, insects, and stuff that have not yet been discovered. I mean, we think that we know everything. No, we don't. And we're finding lizards in the Andes, but the bottoms of, we mentioned the Mariana Trench a little while ago, and the fact that there are bacteria down there. Nobody's named those bacteria, I can guarantee you that. But there are still vast numbers of creatures that we didn't even know existed all over the planet. I'm sorry, yes?
No, and vast numbers of species that are rapidly going extinct without even being...
There are those too, and
noticed.
it's interesting to see which is growing faster, the list of ones we discover or the list of ones that we destroy.
The latter.
Right, I'm afraid it's the latter.
It probably is.
We're going on to, we're going to wrap up the show with a quick summary of disasters and accidents. This is the gory, fun, the gruesome part of the news. At least 24 people died last Friday when a double-decker bus veered off the Hex River Pass near Cape Town, South Africa. Are you there?
Bummer.
You're not there.
I am not there, I gotta confess.
Okay.
Carry on until I
That's
find
okay.
you.
3 people died after a twin-engine plane crashed into a parking lot last Friday in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Ooh.
At least 16 people were killed in a fireworks accident last Friday in Mexico.
And 24 Pakistani army soldiers were killed and 5 were injured Saturday after their bus crashed into a ravine in Pakistan. Pakistan is noted for some very, very treacherous highways that have no guardrails.
A tour bus carrying the Seton Hill University's women lacrosse team veered off the Pennsylvania Turnpike and struck a tree Saturday near Carlisle, killing the team's head coach, her unborn child, and the bus driver.
And they do have guardrails. Got a lot of good they did. A United States helicopter crashed Saturday near Kandahar in southern Afghanistan, killing 1 coalition service member and injuring another.
7 U.S. Marines were killed and 7 others injured when a mortar exploded Monday during a training exercise in the Hawthorne Army Depot in Hawthorne, Nevada.
And yet another bus crash on Tuesday in the Indian state of Maharashtra killed at least 37 people and injured 14 others. So that's a lot of people on one bus. They in India they sort of hang them off.
I was just going to say they're all like on the roof and stuff.
They
Yeah.
just
Never
cling like
taken a bus.
No.
they
And
cling
they-
like geckos to the sides
What
of
about
these
that horrible,
buses.
Rape thing on the bus in
Come on,
Oh,
we didn't
they-
get to that this week. I left it out. Sorry. At least
Okay.
16 people are dead after landslides Tuesday in a mountainous region north of the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro.
And 19 miners who were trapped underground were rescued Wednesday from a mine after a small earthquake had hit a heavily industrialized region of Poland. And finally, from our Maybe There's Hope for Humanity After All department, the Huffington Post reports that not long ago the rock star Pink, great little name, Pink, interrupted a concert in Philadelphia when she saw a little girl in the audience crying. Apparently the child had witnessed a scuffle of some sort and it had frightened her. Pink took a few moments to reassure her and gave her a stuffed toy that someone had thrown onto the stage, along with a Rice Krispies treat, commenting that Rice Krispies treats fix everything. Ah, would that it were so. Well, at least it was true for that little girl. Thank you, and good night.
Yes, for Friday, March 22nd, 2013, this has been the Friday News Dump, presented to you by World News Trust. I'm Francis Goodwin. This is Greg Crawford. Thank you.